It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me is my co-host for the morning, Siege, back once again. How you doing, my man? Good to have you here with me.
I'm doing great. Woke up today, could be worse. Just another great day in SimWorld.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and jump right into the topic, shall we? Let's talk about some of the old guard in the SWBA. LeBron James and Steph Curry, the Lakers and Warriors in particular, are those two teams uh past their primes with those players, with LeBron, with Curry, the two of those teams. Are those two guys past their primes, and is that going to be a concern for both their teams going forward, in your opinion?
So by definition, they're past their prime. Let's talk. Let's start with the Lakers. Yes, LeBron is past his prime, which was the longest prime I've ever seen. He's still in the upper echelon of NBA players, which is insane. I personally, if they were to find a way to sneak into a play-in spot or a last seed or something, I'm still not going to bet against LeBron in the playoffs. Um,
Mhm.
The Warriors, on the other hand, Klay Thompson isn't quite looking like himself for a while. Um, Draymond Green is old, but doesn't need to be that talented. He never has had to be, but he's a great basketball player. And Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. But yes, they're past their prime. I do think though that the Warriors are in a much better position for their future than the Lakers are. They've got some young guys: Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Puzzle. I can't say his last name. I don't know how to say his last name, but you know the guy I'm talking about. He's got like a really interesting last name. So
Yeah.
they've got a lot more young pieces that I think can carry the franchise on once these guys are really gone. The Lakers, on the other hand, I'm not as comfortable with what their future looks like at the moment.
Yeah, it's weird to kind of look at LeBron and Steph and say, yeah, they're past the prime because they've been in the league for a while, but it feels like they're still playing at a high level despite their age. You know what I mean? Like, sure,
Yeah.
LeBron's numbers have dropped, but I still think that when you look at him, that's still LeBron James. You can tell that that's still him, even though he's lost a step and his numbers fallen off a little bit, that kind of thing. But the when the Lakers won their title 4 years ago, since then they've had a record of 148, 144. So the Warriors won their title 2 years ago. They've had a record of 74, 71, and 64. So like that's kind of wild to think about that. And you know it's I definitely think that they are past their prime in terms of age and production goes. Um, and now it's all about, like you say, like you're trying to figure out how to best set themselves up for the future. And the Lakers, yeah, they are definitely the ones that don't have as much in terms of future prospects. Guys coming up who you can look at and say, yeah, these are the next guys to lead the way for the team.
No, they really don't. But I'll just end with this, B-Ron. I'm still not going to be surprised if we see LeBron sneak into the playoffs and drop a 40-point triple double at some point this postseason. It won't surprise me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I don't see it happening either. Just a little bit more for you here, a little more information that I have here. Um, Over the past four postseasons, Steph Curry and the Warriors, they've won 5 series. They've won 5 playoff series total. The 4 years before that, they had 14 playoff series wins. And
That
then
that's crazy.
for the Lakers, you know, in his first 5 full seasons with the Lakers, LeBron led them to 6 playoff series wins. In the 5 years prior to before he joined the Lakers, 16 playoff series wins. So like
That's
just
insane.
kind of imagine like what LeBron could have did if he had been with the Lakers, maybe not the whole time, but you know, 2 3 years before. He had maybe gotten some of those 16 series wins with the Lakers, maybe won a few more titles with the Lakers.
Yeah, this is a guy who not just dominated but owned the Eastern Conference for a large portion of my life. He he
Yeah.
it's insane to watch, and that's the reason I'm never gonna bet against the guy. Yeah, maybe in the past 5 years it hasn't been the same, but,
Mhm.
if his old running mate over there could, strap up and stop breaking everything, like the guy in SpongeBob who screams out, "Ah, my leg," like every other episode. If Anthony Davis could stop
My
being that
leg.
guy, they yeah, if he could stop being that guy, they still have a chance. I mean, they've got role players. Do I think they're young role players who could, like, take on the franchise after, LeBron isn't there? Not necessarily, but they've got role players. LeBron is maybe past his prime, which is crazy to say, um, but he's still LeBron. And if the my leg guy can play as good as he is talent wise, they've still got a chance. That's all I'll say. It's not
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Look, as long as LeBron James and Steph Curry on your team and they're still playing at a relatively high level competitively, I think you still have a chance. And look, as long as Curry still wants to pull up from half court and make shots, man, like okay, fine, you got it, bud, you
I'll keep
got
watching.
it. You
I'll
know what
keep
I mean?
watching.
Like his range is still like the whole gym and then some. So I'm not too surprised to see that there at all. But look, we were talking about futures and primes and that kind of stuff. Let's switch gears to the SWFL. Patriots are on the clock with their number 3 draft pick in the SWFL draft this season. Question is, what should they do with that pick? Should they trade it? Or should they draft a quarterback or a running back with that pick? Skill positions I feel like are something you want to look for in the first round if you need it. And Patriots have right now Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, unsure on both of those two. Um, should they go quarterback, running back, or do they trade the pick? What do you think they do with that number 3 overall pick, mind you? Number 3 overall pick, mind you. So, like, what do you think they do with that pick, Siege?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and I'll say I'm gonna put my personal bias aside. I mean, I was at school with Mac Jones when he was playing at Alabama, and he was a godsend at Alabama. But could have had to do with the actual NFL roster that was built around him. But he's just not quite the same in the NFL. He's not it. He's not going to do it. I don't necessarily think Bailey Zappi is going to do it either. He's shown some flashes maybe, but he's not going to do it. Um, I think if you're gonna stay at the number 3 pick, you're gonna go with a quarterback. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe they have another first round pick, and these quarterbacks are gonna be flying off the board. It's an interesting idea that if Marvin Harrison Jr. is still on the board there, you maybe
Mhm.
reach at him, and then see what you can do in the quarterback market in free agency or some kind of trade. I actually heard rumors they're going after potentially Kyler Murray with that pick, using that pick to go get Kyler Murray and some other assets. Um, that could be an interesting look. I think there's a lot of ways that you play it, but I think if you're gonna keep it, you use it on a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels, whoever you see kind of fitting your your team's scheme and program better. Who's going to be your guy? I don't see you taking any other skill position if you keep that pick.
Yeah, I never liked the idea of trading away a high draft pick because that pick could potentially set you guys up for future success. Now, either way, it's a gamble because if you trade it away for a guy like Kyler Murray, let's say, and then he doesn't pan out, then you're like, oh well, we trade away out their round pick, and now we don't have that chance to let's say you trade that third pick and you trade away your future first rounder for Kyler Murray. Let's say you do that, for example, and the Kyler trade doesn't pan out. Then you're like, well, now we don't have a first round pick for next year, and it sets you back further. Whereas if you use that pick on a high on a top talent, a top quarterback in the draft, for example, uh, it could pan out too, yes, but it also couldn't. So I feel like it's a tough situation either way when it comes to what to do with that number 3 overall pick, but I do think you should use it, especially when you're gonna have a new head coach coming in, taking over. Gerard Mayo is taking over that head coaching role for the Patriots now. So I feel like they should use that first round pick to give Mayo kind of a leg up on things. Use it on a quarterback. I think that might be their biggest need, in my opinion. Is a
I
quarterback.
agree with that.
I don't think it's gonna be Caleb Williams. I don't think Williams falls to 3. Who it's gonna be though, like you said, it could be Jalen Daniels, could be him. They have options there at the number 3 spot though, for sure. Who it's gonna be though, I don't really know.
No, I think it's a tricky one. But I think there's a world where in this, hypothetical trade for a Kyler Murray, they're not giving up anything other than that pick. Um, and they're potentially getting more than Kyler Murray back. So I think when you look at
Yeah,
it from that standpoint, if I can get Kyler Murray and maybe a third round pick, not only am I getting that extra pick, um, but I'm getting a guy who let's face it, Kyler Murray is good when he's playing.
yeah.
And maybe he was with a team that was a little bit better organized. You could do something. So I agree. There's a lot of things you could do. If I'm personally the Patriots GM right now, I'm probably going and I'm probably going to take Drake May. But I'm not a GM, and there's a good reason for that.
That's fair. That's fair enough, Siege. Well, look, let's switch gears one more time. We gotta talk about SimWorld Prep, of course. And there's a big game last night out in California. Bay Area Breakers and the Showtime basketball played against each other. And Showtime, didn't really look good in that one. Bay Area ended up winning by 20, 70-50. So, and there was a lot of talk leading up to the game. We heard Dre Pope on Take It As You Will earlier in the day yesterday talk about, his thoughts on the game and how, Cole Webb was going to perform, that kind of thing. He said it was going to be a long night for those kids on Showtime, and it was, honestly. It really was for those kids. They looked flat in some spots. But let's not give it too hard on the kids there. Question though, who does this win? What does this say? Does this say more about Bay Area, or in your opinion, does this say more about Showtime in terms of how they lost the game, how they played in it, that kind of thing? Who does this mean more to?
All it says, I mean, it's a rivalry game. It means more to both of them. But Showtime's not happy they lost for sure. Bay Area went out there and got what they wanted. To me, the biggest thing that this says, and we've seen it before this season, I just don't really know what the interior defense for Showtime looks like. I think it's a concern. Yeah, it's Trey Hyman. Nobody can really guard Trey Hyman down low. But I'm concerned about what's there other than Cole Webb for the Showtime basketball team. Um, is there someone else there? And I will say this real quick. Shout out Cole Webb. Trey Pope did say he wasn't even going to get a 20 piece. He was too small. He got himself a 20 piece. So shout out Cole Webb.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm concerned about the surrounding. Like what's the scheme? What's the game plan? If Cole Webb isn't going to go for 30, what are we going to do? I think that's what I'm taking out of this one.
Yeah, no, look, I definitely agree with you there. I think that for me, look, Bay Area is now in third place, 9-6. Showtime down to 7-9 now. I think that this is more about Showtime and kind of their lack of identity around Cole Webb. Like you said, they have Bryce James and they have Cole Webb. I feel like both of those two need to be more prominent in the offense. It shouldn't be about Cole Webb because you have a kid like Bryce James there. And Israel Vines too. We can't forget about him. You know, Try to focus. In my opinion, if I'm Coach Joyner, I'm focusing on those 3 kids and trying to get them more involved in the offense.
Yep, a lot of options. I'm a big Israel Vines believer. I actually also really like this Brendan Romine kid. Mark Chisholm, great defender, but I don't know if he can help on that offense side. And what about Jarius Bradley? Jarius Bradley's a hooper. I would like to see more of him. Played 3 minutes in last night's loss. I like Jarius Bradley. I think he's a very good player, but there's a reason I'm not a coach either. So
Well, look, that's going to do it for us today on SimWorld today. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, we appreciate you all and your support. Do us a favor while you're on YouTube watching the video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notify bell so you can know when all of our videos and shows and streams go live for you all. And until next time, remember, SimWorld is the only place where you can do what, Siege?
see the game, be the game.
We'll see you on Monday.
presentation of SimWorld Sports.